as public servants, we're often motivated by personal experience,
Oh,
but
my goodness.
that's one good story, I have to say. Thank you for sharing that with us. We have some time to have a second round of questions, senators, if you're open to doing that. So I will recognize the ranking member to start off the second round of questioning, and then go directly to you, Senator Lummis.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a couple of questions. So for Ms. Biddle and Mr. Orn, this question is about accountability and transparency. You know, your state's departments of transportation are responsible for deciding how and where you will spend federal highway dollars in your state. And accountability is critical when selecting projects to ensure that investments address the most pressing needs, whether it be improve resilience, enhance multimodal transportation, or implement safety measures. And so we need to be sure that flexibility, although that's important, does not result in underinvestment in underserved communities, and that all states continue to support modes of transportation. So as we consider expanding states' ability to transfer federal highway funds across programs, how can we also strengthen transparency and accountability? If you can just each answer that.
Thank you so much for the question, and completely agree. When states have greater authority to direct those federal funds where they're most needed, whether for safety, climate change, resilience, it's equally important that those decisions are all well documented, performance-based, and clearly communicated to all of our partners. I think one way to strengthen the accountability is through enhanced public reporting and performance tracking, perhaps tied to our state transportation improvement program, or STIP. Every project that benefits from flexed funds should be traceable within the STIP, accompanied by measurable outcomes aligned with national performance goals, especially in safety, asset condition, and emissions reduction. These tools already exist, and we simply need to ensure that they're consistently used and with clear metrics. I think accountability also depends on robust coordination between states and USDOT's modal agencies. MDOT supports consistent and transparent eligibility determinations across all these programs so states can plan flexibly while remaining grounded in federal oversight and public expectations. So, why is this important? Because public trust in the transportation system depends on demonstrating that federal dollars are delivering those real results. We need to have reliable transit, we need to have equitable access, long-term infrastructure resilience, and when flexibility is paired with clear goals and data-driven implementation, we're not just spending money, we're also solving problems. But finally, advancing programs like Vision Zero, our state highway safety plans, and targeted safety legislation such as the Safe Routes Improvement Act, it helps us ensure that even with fund transfers, our core mission remains the same, that we are all saving lives and expanding opportunity.
Thank you.
Senator, I concur with some of the remarks that Samantha made. We have our STIP, we have our travel meetings, we reach out to our tribes, and we work with them, our MPOs. We also work with our local public agencies. I just want to say that every project that we do in our state is either in a community or it affects a community, whether you're in a county, a city, a small city, or a big city. Every investment we make does affect our communities. And actually, what we use our transfers for is to be able to be more flexible towards our larger communities. So the more we can transfer, the better we can help with their priorities and reach the goals that they want in their communities. Without the transferability, it would make it extremely difficult because with the sub-allocations, we do get down to where they're fairly small in our state, so it makes it very difficult. You have to have just the right project to fit just the right dollar amount, and that's may not always be your right priority. So through transfers, we are able to benefit a lot of our communities, and that's part of the use that we use that, and that's why we're very supportive of the Transferability Act.
Thank you. Just one more question for Ms. Jones. It's a question about barriers. I know we've heard a lot about how the Safe Routes to School program improves pedestrian and cyclist safety and the efficacy of it, but can you just talk a bit about the barriers that exist at the state or local level that limit both the scale or speed of the implementation of the program?
Yes, thank you so much for the question, Senator Alsobrooks. I mentioned in a prior response that sometimes it's awareness or lack of capacity from a local community to apply, but another barrier is the local match requirement. So these projects typically require the 20% match. And some states are using new flexibility from the IIJA to reduce match in high-need areas, but many communities still struggle with that 20%. And that's why the Sarah Devin Langenkamp bill is so important. It gives states the flexibility, if they would like, to use the Highway Safety Improvement Program as match for local safety projects like Safe Routes to School projects. To me, this is the perfect example of flexibility focused on accountability and outcomes. It gives states a tool in service of a desired outcome, safety, and it really helps local communities that don't have that 20% match, particularly small and rural communities with a low tax base who would otherwise not be able to access those funds.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.